Hi guys, how's it going? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Astrid. I'm a Western astrologer. Thank you so much for watching. Happy Monday. I hope you had a great weekend. Today we will look at the lunar eclipse in the sign of Virgo. If you like my videos, don't forget to give them a like, subscribe to this channel, and consider it sharing with other astrology fans. And if you want to book in a personal reading, you will find the link for that in the description box below. Now we'll be looking at the sign of Virgo and the first eclipse of 2025 and what that will mean for your sign. On March the 13th or the 14th, depending on where you are in the world, we're going to see a full moon lunar eclipse. And this eclipse is, of course, in Virgo and about Virgo, but it's also about the Pisces area of your chart, because the full moon will take place in the opposite sign of Virgo, so the Pisces Virgo axis. This is also, of course, where the North and the South node are currently located. And because the Pisces part of your chart is like being set up for a very, very big release and like a big, big final ending during March and May, whenever Neptune will switch over to Aries, and also Saturn will move out of Pisces and switch into Aries as well. And yeah, it's like all the way up until September, they will dip back into the sign of Pisces to make like this final big wrapping up in that sign. So, but about this eclipse, eclipses can be like blind spots. So we can feel a little bit in the dark while these times are happening. So not the best of time to make like huge decisions about like the Virgo or Pisces area of your chart. And we're going to look into that, what that means for each of the 12 signs, of course. And like adding like the retrogrades that are currently happening on top of that as well. It's like a time for introspection rather than make like hasty decisions or like jump to conclusions right now, especially about contracts, negotiations, business dealings, because Mercury, the ruler of this eclipse, will go retrograde the day after this lunar eclipse. So, and we also see like Venus retrograde. So also not the best time to make like huge decisions in love or in regards to money as well. So yeah, really take time to dive into yourself rather than like project everything on the outside right now, because things might feel a little bit tricky with this eclipse. And it's actually not such a positive one to give you like a little heads up. Definitely on the world stage, it could mean some implications that I'm going to go deeper into, but let's look a bit at the chart as well. So the first lunar eclipse in Virgo, and it's been since 2016, but it's the first south node lunar eclipse in Virgo since 2008. So think back to those times, and maybe some repetitive themes can occur during this time. So full moon lunar eclipses, they are about culminations, endings, and a big kind of release that's about to happen. And they always like bring forth more emotional intensity, because full moons are about release and letting go, but like this is like a full moon on steroids. That's how we can look at the lunar eclipse. So, in the sign of Virgo, it's about healthcare, service industry, labor unions, also farming, technical complexity, like complex systems. That's all part of Virgo. And this eclipse is going to have very, very strong Saturnian influences, because it makes an opposition to Saturn. So we will see a Sun conjunct Saturn while we see this full moon lunar eclipse. So Saturn is about like restrictions, denial, suffering, limits, running into blocks. So yeah, it can feel a little bit restrictive for sure, this eclipse. And with Mercury then going retrograde the day after in Aries, being like the ruler of this full moon lunar eclipse and of the south node as well, that's like so important, and it could like really point towards very big labor strikes. So, but we're gonna dive deeper into that as well. So yeah, if we look at the opposition to Saturn, it's like whenever an eclipse triggers a planet, then you can like get a real manifestation of what that planet actually means in that sign. So that's why there's like a very, very big emphasis on Pisces as well during this time. So yeah, it can be about migrants, deportation, that will come up in a very big way. And if there are labor strikes happening, which I'm quite sure of, they will have like more impact than usual. So yeah, always when like an eclipse happens, it like blots out and blocks out. That's like the thing with an eclipse. So watch for like a public health cover up, because yeah, health will be like a major theme, because yeah, Virgo rules physical health and our collective health. So yeah, they're probably gonna try to cover up some things in regards to 2020, in regards to what's going on now with the bird flu and other types of medical procedures that took place. So yeah, eclipses, they block out. So it's like what normally would be very, very clear could now be like obscured, or like it conceals a bit. So now there can be like themes in regards to our health that can get concealed, but like revelations, we will need to like wait for them until Mercury is back direct. We already see things being talked about right now, especially in the EU, because like the Court of Justice considers that doctors will be solely responsible for the consequences of certain medical procedures, because they were free to refuse to inject them. So that's what's been coming out in the last couple of weeks, I think 2 weeks ago. And eclipses, they tend to have an effect a little bit before, but also up to 6 months after. So this was released 2 weeks ago, and I immediately thought like, yeah, okay, this is the lunar eclipse in Virgo, and all these themes will likely re-emerge and will be like widely discussed. So this is the path of visibility. So it's going to be total over the over America, North and South America. And now I want to show you a movie. Yes, there it is. Here you can see where the eclipse will be visible and which parts of the world it will implicate. So you have like a better understanding if you're like in that zone. And here we see the geodetic map, and the geodetic map, it like divides all the countries into the 12 zodiac signs. So here we can see parts of the EU, but also New Zealand. That will like have a big, big impact. But here we look especially at the Virgo and the Pisces area and the geodetic map. So UK, Spain, Portugal, Western Africa, and then the Virgo area is especially New Zealand. And there is also another way to look at the world divided through the zodiac, and also a way to look at where the eclipse is like rising and setting. And what stood out to me was that like New Zealand comes up twice when I look into it. So I think New Zealand will be of major importance, something it will be implicated by this eclipse for sure. Then let's look at the aspects and at the chart. So Virgo, yeah, it's like service towards others. It is common sense. It is careful observation, the little details. It's also about perfectionism, about hygiene, cleaning up after others. And in mundane astrology, it represents like our healthcare systems, the service industries, farming, and complex systems. So it is a mutable sign. So all the mutable signs will be like highly impacted by this eclipse. And Virgo is, of course, an earth sign ruled by Mercury. If you look at it from a more health perspective, it's about the intestines, the nervous system as well, because Virgo rules over our physical, and Pisces is over our mental health. But Virgo is also about stress levels. So some other keywords could be analytical, intelligent, reserved, very critical, but also very helpful. And Virgos, they're like always prepared for the worst, which can be a downfall. But whenever like a very critical situation does occur, they can like really remain calm. They can like keep a cool head. So with all these Virgo and Pisces energy, there can be some anxiety in the world for sure. So be mindful about that and try to tap into the more like positive qualities of Virgo. And that's like remaining calm, because you've like played over the situations in your head already like 100 of times. So now you like know what to do when something comes up. We can also see that the eclipse is going to take place at the 23rd degree, and that's an Aquarius degree. And it's a special Aquarius degree because this is like the place where like things break down and need to be like replaced fast, because Aquarius is fast. So we will see swift sudden changes in the very Virgo area, which rules over our jobs and over our collective health. And with Mercury going retrograde the day after, this is like very, very potent astrology, guys. It's like there's a lot happening in March, and this is only like a tiny bit of all the pieces that we actually need to break down for the entirety of March. But March will be a very, very pivotal month for sure. And everyone will experience this eclipse in a personal way. Some will not notice anything at all, while others, and especially Virgo or Pisces, or all the mutable signs, which are Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius, and Pisces, of course, especially if you have like planets between 22 degrees and 26 degrees, they will feel this eclipse most intensely. But I do see a lot of astrologers on YouTube saying like, oh, everyone is going to have a major shift and eclipse season, and but it's not going to be the same for everyone. I don't like it when they like overestimate things or make things bigger than they actually are. But if you are a mutable sign, you will definitely be impacted by this eclipse. And on a more general opinion, or more generally speaking, this eclipse is like for all of us an invite to do like spring cleaning, and like not just in a physical sense, but also mentally and emotionally. So it's like time to declutter, to like eliminate distractions, and to create space for new opportunities. And the fact that the Mercury retrograde is coinciding with the powerful lunar eclipse marks it like as a very critical period of reflection, reevaluation, and looking at the necessary information, and by that like making a big transformation. So this period is also very closely tied to events that were seeded back in September of 2024, because then we had a lunar eclipse in Pisces and we had a new moon in Virgo, and that like laid the groundwork for themes that are now reaching some sort of climax or some sort of release or completion. So understanding these past cycles are always key to like interpreting the unfolding changes that are going to happen right now. So yeah, it's like a big emphasis on completion, on releasing, on letting go. And with like all the eclipses, the effects, yeah, they come in a bit beforehand, but they do tend to play out over longer periods of time. So if nothing really happens on the exact day of the eclipse, then that's normal. Like it's not going to be like a day when it can get a little bit more messy and a little bit more stressful. And if you do notice that, then you know it's like, okay, it's because of this eclipse, and you can like remain calm because you're aware of where the energy is coming from. But yeah, it's like it can definitely trigger immediate shifts, especially for the mutable signs. But the energetic imprint will always be like, it will be felt weeks beforehand and will continue out to like ripple out over months, especially leading up all the way to September. And yeah, one of the defining features of this eclipse is like the connection to the South Node in Virgo. The South Node governs like karmic lessons, past experiences, and the need to like release outdated structures. The South Node is what needs to be released out of our lives. And because it's like involved in Virgo right now, it's like big clearing out the past, whether that is like about outdated habits, because Virgo rules our daily routines. It can be about toxic mindsets because it's opposite Saturn in Pisces. And it can also be like a dismantling or a dissolving of inefficient systems as well. And that in contrast to like the North Node in Pisces, that like really encourages collective evolution through intuition, spirituality, and emotional surrender. But because Saturn is there, that's like all a little bit refrained and restricted right now. So that is like a bit more hard during this time. We also see the presence of Uranus. It makes a beautiful trine to this eclipse, and this can definitely add like an element of surprise. It's like creating like a potent mix of like unpredictability and liberation, because these are the key traits of Uranus. So yeah, an unpredictable electric charge, shaking up, stability, yeah, and it's like really propelling us forward and towards unexpected realizations. So yeah, it's cool that it makes a trine. Maybe you need some little shake up to have like new sudden flashes of insights, which are also provided by Uranus. And yeah, with the Mercury retrograde, I can't stress this enough, but it's like the energy is really heightened right now, about deep reassessments of our personal goals, our self-expression, because it is going retrograde in the sign of Aries, which represents the self and how we express ourselves in the outside world. And also like the way how we like assert our ideas. Aries is very, very bold, very independent. It's very action oriented, very pioneering. While Virgo prefers like careful analysis and planning. So can you see that there's like a little bit of harder energy that's being combined right now? Because yeah, Aries is ruled by Mars. It like really embodies independence and courage, while Virgo, ruled by Mercury, represents organization, practicality, cleaning up after others. So yeah, the friction between these energies really like highlights the struggle between impulsive decision making and calculated precision. So yeah, you need to be a little bit more mindful about this right now. So this eclipse is here to point us towards having to embrace simplicity, prioritize what truly matters, and like stop sweating the small stuff. So it's about letting go, particularly overthinking, perfectionism, and like excessive self-criticism. That can like really beautifully be released during this time. The shadow side of Virgo is a bit, can be a little bit obsessed with control, can like really cling towards routines, and like sometimes an inability to see the bigger picture due to like an over focus on little details. So yeah, this eclipse really serves us to like, yeah, be more simple, don't make it too big, prioritize your authenticity, and move away from like restrictive self-imposed limitations. I think this is like the biggest one. Sometimes we create our own prison by wanting to do everything too perfect, by like trying to plan our life ahead. And then when something comes up, we can feel so disappointed. But if plans do change right now, maybe it's for the better. So yeah. The Sabian symbol for this eclipse and this degree of eclipse is Mary and her little lamp. And it's like reinforces themes such as purity, trust, and a return to innocence. So yeah, it like really encourages us all to strip away like our unnecessary complexities and really reconnect with what is real and essential and return to a more natural way of living. And the supportive trine from Uranus suggests that like innovation and radical shifts in perspective will be necessary for progress. So it can be about structuring daily routines, embracing like new work methods, because by that you will see a bigger progress. Can also be about reevaluation of your financial priorities now that Venus is going retrograde as well. But yeah, this period like really demands like significant necessary adjustments, which sometimes could feel a little bit uncomfortable. Yeah, we do need to keep a mind on Uranus in Taurus. It will like continue to disrupt our traditional economic models, and this eclipse will definitely reveal new insights into like how resources are distributed, but also how they are valued. So on a more collective and global level, we see that the Sun is conjunct Saturn. So, and a few days later, the Sun will conjunct Neptune for the last time in 165 years. So, such a potent astrology right now. And the Sun-Saturn conjunction, it could like illuminate for some people a chronic health problem or like an age-related health issue for sure. But that could also happen for our world leaders because Saturn is the government and people who are in authority, and the Sun represents leaders. So, and the Sun also resembles vitality. So the Sun is leadership and vitality. Saturn can like refrain or block that. So yeah, it can be about some leaders showing signs of aging, or a prominent figure could announce that they have a chronic health issue. Could also be about a water supply problem or some water contamination issues during this time. And I have to say that I'm going to be honest, like if a pandemic were to be triggered in 2025, it will be now in March or in September, whenever we have these eclipses in Virgo and Pisces. And right now we see this, the last Sun-Neptune conjunction on the 19th, and Neptune is at its critical 29 degree. So Pisces and Neptune, they are about poison, they are about toxins, pollutants, pathogens. So yeah, and Neptune being at its 29 degree, which is like the maximum amount of energy that is like being manifested through Neptune right now. So yeah, some problems with pathogens, diseases are actually definitely possible right now, and also in September. So another big theme will be the workforce, because Virgo is the workforce and Pisces is migration. There could be like a redefinition of the workforce through like the immigration issues that are currently going on, especially in the States. I think maybe ICE will deport essential workers, and because of that, they can see like a shortage of workers in the US, like maybe a shortage of construction workers. Maybe that will then like affect the housing market. We could also see AI replacing a lot of the more easier jobs. So yeah, definitely something going on in regards to that. But could also be like about the bird flu outbreak. We also see like a higher mortality rate right now, and that is also because everything is at the end of Pisces. And the end of Pisces is like really the end of the zodiac wheel. So I know with all these retrogrades that are going to cross over the end of Pisces again right now, Neptune at its critical degree, really like triggering the most highest amount of toxins that are possible right now. So yeah, and it's like also people are getting way more sick because of influenza as well. I've like really noticed that here in my neighborhood as well. So and because Uranus is in Taurus, it could also be like about contaminated food supplies. Maybe some food supplies will need to be dumped, and we can see something going on in the prices because of that as well. And be a little bit wary about issues with water during this time, actually all the way up until September, and actually the whole winter as well. But another big theme, because Virgo rules our health, there can be like a big dismantling of a health agency right now, especially with RFK Jr. I think all eyes will be on him in the next couple of weeks, because yeah, it's like this eclipse will have like very profound effects on our healthcare system, on labor policies, and on societal infrastructure. And Virgo governs wellness, sanitation, efficiency. So it's like very pivotal moment for like revisiting the public health policies. It's also about like pharmaceutical regulations, workplace structures, and it's in the opposition of Pisces. And Pisces is mental health, institutional systems, but also hidden forces. So it like suggests that like issues related to psychological well-being, addiction, and like the institutional transparency about that will come to the forefront as well. And with Mercury retrograding in Aries, it can be about miscommunications, misinformation, and also like the uncovering of like previously concealed truths. And it's like likely that it's going to happen. We're going to have to wait until Mercury retrograde is over. And that is like the 7th of April, if I'm not mistaken. It's somewhere in the middle of April. So yeah, it's like really topics surrounding like government policies on medical treatments, the transparency in that, but also like the economic distribution of healthcare resources. These are going to be like widely discussed over the next couple of weeks. Because yeah, Virgo is the medical field. So yeah, we really need medical transparency, but we're not going to get it because it's a lunar eclipse. It conceals, it blots and blocks out. But anyway, pharmaceutical ethics and like holistic healing approaches will become like major topics of discussion. Because yeah, we saw in the recent years that there has been this growing skepticism regarding mainstream health narratives, and this eclipse may like catalyze even greater scrutiny on medical institutions, corporate involvement in health policies, and like the economic distribution of healthcare resources. So the opposition to Pisces hints like at a further debate over mental health treatments. Also the efficiency of like prescription drugs is going to be a topic, but also the long-term effects of various medical interventions. So because it trines Uranus and Taurus, it like also suggests maybe potential breakthroughs in alternative medicine, also technological advancements in healthcare, and also discussions around food safety, about nutrition, and also agricultural practices. And of course, the poison that they have been putting in our food for years. Then our job duties. Yeah, labor and workforce dynamics will be a central theme as well. Virgo is associated with the working class, the service industries, and the conditions of our labor, and with Mercury retrograding in Aries. So Mercury is communication and contracts, and Aries is individual rights and action. So disputes over workers' rights, over the job security, and also about fair wages. All these discussions may intensify during this time. We can see sudden different like protests, policy changes. These are things that can like really make headlines during this time. And like, yeah, a reassessment of the organization between your work and life balance. Also about remote working policies. And also about like automation and how that like impacts the employment rate as well. And because this eclipse is in connection to the South Node, it suggests closure and endings. So this could actually manifest as a lot of closure of businesses, shifts in the job market, layoffs, company shutdowns, or like major shifts in the industrial trends, or like in trends in the industry. So yeah, those of you who have been like clinging to jobs that like no longer align with your purpose, you might find yourself be forced to like reconsider another path. Because yeah, the Virgo Pisces axis, which is like activated now with all these eclipses during 2025, it like represents the balance between the tangible and the spiritual. It's like the logical and the intuitive, the physical and the unseen. So yeah, with Saturn and Neptune and Pisces opposing this eclipse, we need to find like a middle ground between our structure and surrender. That like we need to like surrender and accept that not all is clear about these themes right now. Many people will be confronted with their own blind spots, and particularly in like how we handle responsibility versus escapism. So yeah, it's like some of you might be facing sudden health issues, financial obligations with the Venus retrograde, but like also it's a lot about unresolved emotional baggage with all these retrogrades in the mix as well. But always be mindful and just know that this is like an opportunity for healing, even though it could feel a little bit uncomfortable. But those who are like willing to do the work, whether that like means implementing healthier habits, or like seeking therapy or making like these huge career shifts, these people are gonna find that even though the spirit is a bit challenging, it ultimately will like lead to greater clarity and empowerment for sure. So yeah, this eclipse is like really setting us up for the major astrological shifts that are about to happen in March. Saturn is going to jump to Aries in May. Then Neptune is going to move into Aries. We're going to have like the last solar eclipse in Aries. So yeah, March is so packed with such a pivotal, groundbreaking energy, and a lot of people are gonna see their life shifts in a way that they could have like never imagined. So I think this eclipse like really serves as like a wake-up call. It's like gonna urge us all to like recognize where we have been like too passive or too complacent, and maybe we need to like take charge of our own lives again, because that is what Aries wants. So yeah, the message is actually very clear. No one is going to come to save you. You must take responsibility yourself for like your own well-being and your own future. That is like what Aries is all about. So a lot of people who have been putting their trust into maybe world leaders, their parents, their children, are going to be like faced with that. They're going to have to fix their own issues, and they cannot be so dependent on other people anymore when everything jumps into Aries by May, end of May. So yeah, while like these disruptions and unexpected changes may feel a little bit chaotic, they really serve as like a greater purpose of clearing out what no longer serves us. So very big time for reevaluation, release, renewal with trine to Uranus. And we all need to like embrace our adaptability, which is also part of Virgo. We need to simplify our routines, don't make it too hard on ourselves, making mindful choices. Yeah, we need to like create a more sustainable way of living and not asking too much from ourselves and others, and not be too critical of ourselves and others. So, but the full effect of this eclipse will continue to to unfold over like 6 months from now. So we will also see like key reactivations of Mercury and Mars whenever they're gonna like cross over this 23rd degree later on in 2025. So yeah, on a personal level, job changes, health transformations, with the Venus retrograde, relationships that get reevaluated, a big financial restructuring, especially on a global level. You can see what's been going on with all the markets right now, of like all warned for the Venus retrograde, that these things would happen. And then with all these energies affecting the opposite sign, Pisces, it's also about spiritual awakenings. We're going to see an increased interest in holistic healing and meditation, like deeper emotional introspection. So yeah, a lot of things are going to shift in the health area over the next 16 months. And I think it is necessary. We need to like integrate the classic medicine with holistic medicine. And actually, I don't like to say this because holistic or natural medicine for me is the classic treatment from back in the day. So these two got a little bit mixed up, but I guess you understand what I'm talking about. But with all these retrogrades, we really need to like, yeah, there's like a strong caution against like impulsivity. We need to stay calm, we need to stay grounded. Virgo is an earth sign. Go walk barefoot if you feel like things are getting a little bit too emotional, especially for the mutable signs, of course. But don't rush to make like a big or drastic change right now, because it might be that you regret them later on. So, what can we do to prepare ourselves from this eclipse? And first, I'm going to quickly look at the comments. Hi, Bobby Buna. Oh my God, Astrid, my sun degree is exactly 27. Oh yeah, you're a Virgo sun, so yeah, you will feel this in a very, very big way. So the sun is, as I already mentioned, it's our vitality. It can also be about our career, but it can also be about men in our life. Maybe a father figure, because the sun and Saturn is conjunct on the other side in the sign of Pisces. And they're going to make an opposition to your natal sun. So something in regards to career, vitality, or your father will be implicated for sure. And Zippy Dippy Doo, that's a nice name. Good afternoon from Cape Town. Wow, from Cape Town. I would love to visit that place in my life one time. So yeah, how can we prepare ourselves for this eclipse? Some of the rituals that I recommend are to declutter and to organize. Virgo really thrives in a clean, orderly environment. So yeah, purge unnecessary items, reorganize your space, and create like a more efficient workflow. Can also be like, it doesn't always have to be like necessarily physical cleansing. It can also be about cleansing your digital space. Maybe consider deleting old files, reorganizing emails. And with the Mercury retrograde, this is actually a very good time to do that, but be a bit careful and wary, because with Mercury retro, it's easier to make mistakes. Make sure that everything is like backed up, and that you like don't throw anything away by mistake. That is a warning. So be sure everything is like backed up if you still need it in the future. Then we can also focus on our health and wellness, of course. Schedule like health checkups if you have been suffering from chronic ailments. Maybe you can start a new fitness routine, or just simply reassess like your daily dietary habits. Virgo and Pisces, it's about holistic health, about natural remedies. So, really, an excellent time to explore herbal medicine, what types of food that are giving you energy, because for every body type it is different. And really practice mindfulness as well. We can also journal, of course, because the ruler is Mercury. Mercury is about writing things down. So, perfect time for journaling and self reflection. Write about what needs to be released, what habits need some restructuring, and how you can like simplify your life. And reflect on like themes and write them down, what like surfaced in 2024 in the fall, so for in September, the fall for the northern hemisphere, because then we had like the Virgo new moon and the Pisces lunar eclipse, so that set everything into motion of what is happening right now. We can also work with the earth element, of course. So, Virgo is an earth sign, making like grounding exercises especially helpful and powerful during this time. So, walk barefoot on the earth, work in the garden, or you can work with earthy crystals as well. And these are moss agate, fluorite, but also clear quartz. They can help you ground during this time. Then, with that being said, I'm gonna quickly look at Trump's chart. I know a lot of people are getting a little bit triggered when I speak about his chart. So if you do feel triggered by this, you can skip this part if you want to. Because I do like tend to talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly. And I noticed that a lot of people are getting a bit confused about what I like personally think when I do this. Yeah, people don't understand my personal opinion, and that actually doesn't matter, because if I say good things, some people are mad. If I say bad things, other people are mad. So I can personally never win, but that's okay. I'm like not here to win over everyone, and definitely not winning over everyone's approval. I'm just like here to read the energy, guys. So with that being said, if we look at Trump's NATO chart, he has like natally Uranus conjunct the Sun. So his role in the world is to shake things up. He's like here to be a disruptor and to shock and to reform, to like really renew things with the Uranus on the Sun. And like whether that's good or bad, that doesn't matter. He's like just playing his role in this matrix that we call life. So yeah, this eclipse is going to be very, very important for him. And it's looking a bit tense, to be honest, because this eclipse is going to square a lot of his planets. It's going to square his sun, and his sun is his chart ruler because he's a Leo rising. It's going to trigger a grand mutable cross for him, because we can see both luminaries, sun and moon, are implicated by this eclipse. So yeah, a grand cross isn't easy to deal with. It's actually very challenging. So yeah, he will be implicated on a very big level by this lunar eclipse, because both lunaries, we can see the sun and the moon opposite each other in his natal chart. He was actually born during an eclipse. So yeah, very eventful for his health, because the sun is vitality, but also in regards to like employment policies or social security policies, these, because like it aspects his 10th house of leadership. It's in the sign of Virgo. It's about work and health on a collective level. And because it makes squares to his sun in the 10th house, his leadership, his role in the outside world. this can get a little bit, yeah, it's going to be hard. It just doesn't look good. We can also see like, because we see the Sun and Saturn in transit, they are like entering his 8th house right now. They are also squaring his Sun. So alliances with other leaders will receive some sort of restriction. Some will be cut loose, especially with the Venus retrograde and his 8th house as well. It could be him implicating that. It could also be like other leaders or presidents or prime ministers will like cut off the relationship with the US, or like vice versa. And I'm talking or like thinking about NATO for sure in this context, and I will look at NATO's chart in just a sec. But he could also like lose support of some of his colleagues in Congress. His progress they will like try to stall his progress for sure. He can get blocked in some way. Yeah, it's like, and with Saturn and the Sun squaring his own natal Sun, and Saturn in the 8th house, it can also point massively towards health issues. So it's not looking good for his health. The Sun symbolizes vitality. Saturn refrains that energy. And also karma from past actions that are going to catch up and will cause some kind of crisis, because it's in the 8th house, the house of crisis, squaring towards his 10th house Sun, which resembles leadership, his social standing, reputation, and Saturn, the planet of karma, blocks, limitations, is like all refraining that. If we then fast forward to the last solar eclipse in Aries, that's going to take place on the 29th of March, that will be at 9 degrees of Aries, and it will be in his 8th house of intensity and crisis as well, in the sign of conflict and war. So yeah, it's not looking good. And like, if you then look at his MC, it's the top black line of the chart. We can see Uranus on the midheaven, and Trump will teach you better than any astrology course what Uranus on the midheaven exactly means in the upcoming few weeks, because I already explained Uranus is the disruptor, the one that causes chaos and like upheaval and surprises and shocks. So yeah, it is gonna like start to square his natal Mars just as we speak. His natal Mars is at 26 degree of Leo. Uranus right now is at 24 degrees. So yeah, sudden upheaval, sudden shocks, disruptions in his power behind the scenes, which is Mars in the 12th house, or there can be surprises for him behind closed doors as well. And whenever Mars in transit is going to end up in his 12th house, there is a possibility of ending up in the hospital or having to retreat and rest. And Mars will be entering his 12th house by the end of April, all the way up into May and middle of June. So I'm just going to like say it as it is, and it is not looking good at all. So whether you like or dislike Trump, it doesn't matter. Like, this is the current energy impacting his natal chart. So his health, his life essence, his reputation can receive serious backlash in the upcoming 3 months. Although, of course, I do not wish harm upon no one, even if some values don't fully align. But this eclipse is particularly important because it's a full moon lunar eclipse affecting him in a bad way, all the way to his natal lunar eclipse. So yes, it will be a very, very important time. And for the US, this eclipse lands on Neptune in the 9th house. So it's about employment, deportation, health crisis, can also be about religious and ethnicity matters, can be about agriculture and a supply chain disruption as well. So let's look at Natal's chart very quickly. Very important because it's gonna happen on the rising. So NATO's chart has an eclipse conjunct the rising, so something is being released in the way they present or identify themselves. It's going to square Uranus and the moon, so sudden shocks for the people who live in NATO countries, because leadership is unpredictable and unreliable. They have a Mercury retrograde in the 7th house of open enemies and alliances. So a lot of renegotiations and contracts that need to be reassessed. Not the best time to sign anything or make big decisions, which they are doing, of course. And then we also see a Venus retrograde, also in the 7th house. So loss of money from alliances. Also investments that are made now are pointing towards massive loss of money. So all these retrogrades over their planets in Aries. Aries is the sign of war. That's why there's so much talk about deployment of troops, which I actually all talked about in my 2025 Astro Deep Dive. You can watch it if you haven't seen it yet, because there I talk a little bit more about that, but I don't want to repeat myself for the people who already seen it. So with that being said, I'm going to start the mini readings for the 12 signs, and I'm going to try to go over them quickly because I'm already almost an hour into this video. So we're going to start with Aries, sun, moon, or rising. You're going to have this eclipse in your 6th house of work, health, daily routines. There may be some work-related epiphanies happening during this time. Some of you will end the job. Some will realize you need a new approach to your career. Can also be about the fitness or a health breakthrough. Maybe this eclipse is going to encourage you to like adopt better health habits that really impact your health and well-being on a very positive level. It's really time to like let go of negative behavior on a daily basis. So it's like a time to really also reassess stress levels because it's in the 6th house. So for Aries, some big type of stressy situation can be released from your life, which is actually quite positive. Slow down, reassess your lifestyle, and really allow time and things to like unfold naturally. Be careful about burnout. If you have been like pushing yourself too hard, your body will demand rest. Emotional stress could also like really manifest as physical problems or symptoms right now. And it's going to really like tell you it's time to prioritize healing. And you also have Mercury retrograde, of course, in your sign, in Aries in the 1st house, in your identity and self-expression. So it's about confidence and your self-image that are being reassessed. There can be delays in old projects or like in projects from the past that are popping back up again. Those can get finished, but if you start something new right now, it's going to see delays for sure. So and potential frustration that are going to cause stress into your 6th house. So and you may like also revisit all decisions about your appearance, about your goals, and about your approach to life. So avoid impulsive moves, really think before speaking or acting, reassess your schedule, your fitness, your work habits, and revisit all these old issues. And if you do that, you can have like a very a big fresh start that will emerge later in spring. And if you've been experiencing some stress-related health concerns, this is like a big call to like heal and reset. So be patient with yourself, reflect on how you present yourself to the world and like what you truly want, because a lot is gonna shift into your sign soon, my dear Aries. So good luck. We have Taurus, sun, moon, or rising. You have this eclipse in your 5th house of creativity and romance and children. This can be like a time of passionate rediscovery. Old flames might definitely reappear. Can also be about a final release or a release of a creative project, and that could like really take off during this period. You might also like release something that no longer brings you joy, because the fifth house is the house of joy. And if you've been like overly perfectionistic in love or in your creative endeavors, this eclipse like really urges you to like let go and embrace like your playfulness. The fifth house is also about fertility and children. So some can expect unexpected pregnancies can definitely come up with this eclipse. It can also be significant developments related in the lives, related to your children that are like happening in their life as well. You have Mercury retrograde in your 12th house of dreams and the subconscious. Can be about hidden desires. It can also be about artistic inspiration. It could also be about prophetic dreams. So yeah, that would be nice to maybe write down your dreams. But you're being like called to redefine what you love, how you find joy, and what personal fulfillment actually truly means for you. So it's about hidden matters, dreams, fears, subconscious patterns. Good time to release self-sabotaging tendencies or like emotional baggage that you've been like keeping, that you've been like holding on to. Be sure, Taurus, like dive into old spiritual practices. If you've been meditating in the past, it's good that you bring this back into your life. You can also release a lot of self-sabotaging behavior in therapy sessions, hypnotherapy, past life regression. All these things may prove to be very, very beneficial. So take time for self-reflection, meditation, pay attention to your dreams, my dear Taurus. Good luck. The next one is Gemini, Sun, Moon, or Rising. You have this eclipse in your 4th house of home. So, family, emotional security, an eclipse in that area of your chart can bring potential moves, changes in family dynamics, or revelations about your living situation, or maybe something feels a little bit off and you're not sure why. And after this Mercury retrograde, you can see why things are off in your home environment. So yeah, for you, Gemini, it's very, very important to really declutter and create a more peaceful home environment. This eclipse forms a mutable T-square to your sun, moon, or rising. So yeah, meaning you'll have to like balance your personal life with career responsibilities. Communication will be key. And also, yeah, speak up about your needs with this, with your chart ruler, Mercury going retrograde soon. And yeah, really speak up to your family members, landlords, roommates, people that you live with together. It's important to communicate about how you feel, and by that something can be released. Mercury, your chart ruler, goes retrograde in your 11th house of friendship and goals. It's also about your future plans. So maybe perhaps a friend helps you move, or a family event shifts your priorities, or maybe you reassess what kind of home supports your long-term dreams. So there can be some miscommunication, there can be some reconnections with old friends, can also be about past social networks or groups that might come back into your life, and you could experience some delays in team projects or long-term aspirations. And because it's happening in your 11th house and it's your chart ruler, it could also be about tech issues with social media or networking that could arise. So Gemini, really double check details for like group events, social gatherings, and be like mindful of social misunderstandings or like a miscommunication issue with a friend that might need to be cleared out. So good luck, my dear Gemini. The next one is Cancer, Sun, Moon, or Rising. You have this eclipse in your 3rd house of communication and mental clarity. So it's about learning, social, local environment. short distance travel. It could like really bring up very important conversations, mental breakthroughs, and words that you've spoken in the past that like might resurface right now. So you might also receive unexpected messages that like force you to like rethink your perspective on things. And if you've been like over analyzing or like caught up in like a negative thinking pattern, this eclipse like really encourages you to like make it more simple here in your head, and really say what you mean, and like let go of like mental clutter. So really good time to yeah, maybe do some breathing exercises to like release the mind of stress. For you, it will be very beneficial to write down, to journal, launch something creative that involves communication. There could also be some issues in relation to siblings, neighbors, contracts, or transportation. So be mindful on the road with an eclipse in your third house. And then Mercury goes retrograde in your 10th house of career. So this eclipse might also like signal a need to reassess your professional goals, update a resume. Maybe you're gonna have a long-awaited conversation with your boss. And maybe it's a good time whenever Mercury goes goes back direct to like publish, launch, or like announce something, because Mercury retrograde could give you like the time to like prepare for that, and eclipse could like really push that forward whenever like Mercury retrograde goes back direct. So actually good time, and people can look at you differently by what you announce or by what you change in your professional life after the retrograde ends. So yeah, there could be some possible delays, confusion, and miscommunication at work. Be a bit mindful about that. Could also be about old career opportunities that are gonna like resurface, or maybe past professional issues that might need to be resolved. While the Mercury retrograde occurs, be more careful with public statements and also about how you communicate in the workplace. The really big announcements are only gonna be good whenever Mercury turns back direct. Now you have like time to think about it. So yeah, really think about where you're headed in your career. So good luck, my dear Cancer. The next one is Leo, Sun, Moon, or Rising. You're gonna have this eclipse in your second house of finances, personal values, material possessions. So there could be like a major shift in your income, in your investment, or like your spending habits. And be mindful, eclipses, they can be like a bit of a wild card. There could be like unexpected financial gains, but there could also be losses. It like depends on what it does in your chart. So I want to be like a little bit careful about what I say here. But either way, wins or losses are gonna like prompt you into a need to like rethink how you manage your money. The second house is also about self-worth. So if you've been like measuring your value by material success, this eclipse asks you to like find deeper fulfillment beyond this financial security. You might need to release financial stress, or like unnecessary possessions, and maybe there's going to be a change in your approach to earning your money. Mercury goes retrograde in your 9th house of travel, higher education, higher knowledge, philosophy, wisdom, and it could be reassessing maybe expenses that are related to your school, travel, or legal matters. They also come up into the 9th house. So can also be about rethinking some sort of career choices that no longer align with your values. And budget smart, but don't let like fear of control or like let fear control your decisions. And the 9th house is like education, philosophies, past mentors, teachers, past foreign connections might reappear. Be a bit more cautious about publishing, about signing contracts regarded to higher wisdom and philosophy. And if you make travel arrangements right now, there could be some delays in that. So revisit like past learning and explore new ways to like expand your worldview, but avoid making like very impulsive life-changing decisions in regards to your future right now, which also belongs to the ninth house. Good luck, my dear Leos. The next one is, of course, the star of this show today, and that is Virgo, Sun, Moon, or Rising. You, of course, have this eclipse in your sign. So it's about your identity. There can be a breakthrough. There can be something very big being released. If it's your rising, it can be in regards to your body, maybe some ailments, some chronic ailment. If you have been working on that, that can be released during this time. If it's your sun, it can be in regards to your vitality. It can also be in regards to your career, that something is changing or being let go of. And if it's your moon, it's in regards to your home, in regards to women, or your emotional safety. So it depends on which planet or rising it lands on. So yeah, Virgo, it's all about you, and like it's about self-expression, personal growth. And if you have been like feeling stuck in an outdated version of yourself, this is like really the time to like release self-doubt and step into a more empowered version of you. I know, Virgos, you've been like very, very strict on yourself and onto others, but I do want to like repeat that the South Node is currently traveling through your sign. So it's like the best time to release these perfectionism tendencies, release control on your life, and really be a bit more soft for yourself. And I think this eclipse can like really be a turning point into that. Maybe some skepticism, some perfectionism is going to be released by this eclipse in your sign, and maybe you will feel more able to really like release control and just like dip back into like the Pisces area of your chart and really like listen to your intuition, let go of wanting to control everything, look at the more brighter side of life, really believe into your dreams, and yeah, release the self-doubt. It is not necessary, Virgo. I know you are fond of the little details, and I know you really want to correct everyone's mistakes, and I know you're too hard on yourself. So really practice self-love, especially also with Venus retrograde into your 8th house. It's about like self-love traumas from the past that are getting triggered right now as well, so you can release and love yourself in a more deeply profound way. And also think back to September 2024. Were there like some changes that you were like contemplating about them during this time? Now it can be a time where they like be released, and some new shift is going to take place. So yeah, there can be major realizations or like shifts related to your self-image in regards to your health or like in your life path in general. So yeah, you might want to like change the way you look. Can also like very subtle happen into your like mindset, or how you like present yourself to the world. And old identities and old insecurities are gonna fall away, making like space for a new confident version of yourself. Mercury is your chart ruler, and it's going retrograde also into your 8th house of intimacy, finances, and deep psychological healing. So this transformation may come in regards to like emotional intensity. You're gonna have to like reassess financial ties, your shared resources, and your deep personal connections. Like The second and the eighth house axis is like the give and take. So are some relationships putting like some kind of limitation on yourself? Do you give more than you receive? That is going to be up for review in a very, very big way. And it's also going to be about like letting go of toxic relationships, but also financial burdens that need to like fall away. And all these things, if you're like gonna let them go, they will be like such a big key in moving forward. Yeah, the eighth house is debt, taxes, alimony, child support, intimate connections, financial agreements, inheritance matters, and loans as well with the bank. So these all may require some sort of reassessment. And old wounds related to trust and related to power dynamics and emotional intimacy are going to arise during the next couple of weeks. So really avoid major financial decisions, or like starting or signing new contracts in regards to your finances. Like this is a time of ending and release, not the best time to make like hasty decisions and jump forward into like signing new things or starting new things. Like everything you're going to start new now is going to face major I'm not going to say disappointment, but definitely delay, and things might look different in May. So really focus on financial declutter, reassess emotional bonds, and work through your deep-seated fears. And by that, I think I've said it all. So good luck, my dear Virgos. The next one is Libra, Sun, Moon, or Rising. You are gonna have this eclipse in your 12th house, which governs the subconscious, your dreams, and the hidden aspects of your life, self-sabotaging behavior as well, and final endings. And because it's like a full moon lunar eclipse, which already is a full moon on steroids, and it's already about like letting go and releasing in a big way. Like having this in your 12th house could like really implicate like your life as you know it is like about to end in the upcoming 6 months. A totally new transformation awaits you. So yeah, this eclipse is going to trigger self-reflection. It's going to ask you to emotional clear out the past. There can be a bigger need for solitude, and the emphasis is like on addressing like your self-criticism and how perfectionism is self-sabotaging your behavior. And it can also be like about repressed issues. The 12th house is a bit of a tricky house, and yeah, a lot of things that you like tucked away can definitely come back up to be cleared out during this time. So Libras, you might really benefit from spiritual retreats, from therapy, meditation, or like make some sort of travel to like a foreign country and take time to heal. Mercury retrograde in your 7th house of relationships. So it's about relationships from the past. Maybe it can be about exes coming back to clear some things out. Old partnerships might return, but be a bit wary and be very discerned in how you're gonna deal with that. Don't do it out of nostalgia. Do it because you really want it. Don't get stuck in the past. This full moon lunar eclipse in your 12th house really asks you to like release what no longer serves you. So don't sabotage yourself by getting back into an old relationship in which they clearly didn't value you at your core. So it can also be about some communication breakdowns in romantic, business, or legal relationships. Be a little bit more cautious in negotiations of new contracts. There can also be like delays or misunderstandings in partnerships, and that can give a little bit of discussion. So don't rush into major relationship decisions. Really use this time to reassess relationship dynamics. So good luck, my dear Libras. The next one is Scorpio, Sun, Moon, or Rising. You are gonna have this full moon lunar eclipse into your 11th house of friendship, social gatherings, social networks, also long-term goals. So this could like really signal a shift in your social circles, and some friendships are gonna end with this full moon lunar eclipse in your 11th. So yeah, new alliances might emerge, but it will be after the Mercury retrograde, I guess. So any toxic connections will naturally fall away, revealing also who truly supports like your dreams, Scorpio. And those who do support your dreams are like really, really emphasized by this eclipse, and you will be very, very, it will be easy to see around this eclipse. So it's an opportunity to like release outdated friendships and really see those visionary allies for you, Scorpio. And with Mercury retrograde in Aries into your 6th house of work and health, there may be like a return to old projects, maybe some reconnections with former colleagues, or a shift in some kind of routine or schedule, and your work responsibilities might increase, and you need to like prioritize career maybe over social engagements with this one. There can be like an unexpected encounter with past friends. It can be about like shocking revelations about relationships as well. Really like reevaluate what truly fulfills you socially and professionally. The 6th house is work, health, but also stress. So make sure you're like reevaluating your daily routines and your health habits and your work responsibilities and how that like all affects each other. Be a bit mindful about miscommunications with colleagues. And if you have been suffering from issues, like health issues from the past, they can like reappear during this time, signaling a need to increase or like to better balance out your work life balance. So yeah, it's gonna like prompt you for a need for better self-care, I think, with Aries into your 6th house. So yeah, really look at your time management and be patient. If you experience setbacks in your work, focus on improving your self-care and really avoid burnout with all these things that are gonna happen into your 6th house soon. So good luck, my dear Scorpios. The next one is Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, or Rising. You are going to have the eclipse into your 10th house of career and public recognition. So, this is going to mark a significant turning point in your professional life. It can be sudden changes, some jobs that you're going to have to let go of. It can also be about promotions, yeah, or like shifts and endings because it's a full moon lunar eclipse. There can also be like recognition for past efforts that may come in right now. And a lot of Sagittarius are going to like question their long-term ambitions and maybe are going to actively seek out themselves like a career shift. And the presence of the South Node indicates like a karmic moment, and past actions are going to shape your present right now. And this full moon lunar eclipse is going to trigger that. Some are gonna have to take maternity leave with the eclipse there. Some are gonna have to step into new leadership roles. And some are gonna leave their traditional work to like launch a passion project or like some creative endeavor. Sagittarius, you have the Mercury retrograde into your 5th house of creativity, romance, children, and fun. So it's like about revisiting past relationships and how these past mistakes are maybe still having like an implication on your relationships that you're having right now, your current relationships. So it's about also your creative projects. It's about some hobbies from the past that can like re-emerge into your life that can create a lot of fun for you. There could also be some delays or confusion in your dating life, and old flames from the past might resurface. Be a bit cautious about rekindling them because, yeah, Not the best time with this Venus and Mercury retrograde right now. All the way over Neptune, over Saturn, it's not the best time to end up in a new relationship, or like a relationship from the past or a new one. Just don't do it right now. But all these things happening in your fifth house can also be about misunderstandings with children or younger people. So, yeah, really focus on old creative endeavors or old creative passions. Avoid jumping into like rushed romantic decisions. It's a reevaluation of your personal joy, your romance, and your creativity. So yeah, let go of like outdated ambitions and aim for like a soulful, meaningful, or like soulful, meaningful success and joy, rather than just like professional prestige, because in the 10th house something is going to be released. So good luck, my dear Sagittarius. The next one is Capricorn, Sun, Moon, or Rising. You are gonna have this eclipse into your 9th house, which governs higher education, travel, philosophy, your belief system. There can be something let go of in that area that can mark like a shift in your worldview. It can be about legal matters, it can be about publishing, or like your academic pursuits. So yeah, some of you Capricorns are gonna complete like a major educational milestone. Some of you are going to travel abroad. Some of you are going to gain deep spiritual insights that really are going to like reshape your perspective. So the key theme here is to release old rigid beliefs, embrace like a new philosophy, and really like broaden your perspective. And this eclipse trines Capricorns very beautifully. So yeah, it's like bringing productive, forward-moving energy into your life. So it's actually good. Something might be let go. That by letting something go, it might increase your forward-moving energy. But yeah, whoever with like the opposition to Saturn in your 3rd house, that can cause a little bit of communication delays or like a bit of obstacles in your travel plans if you were to make them during this time. You have Mercury retrograde into your 4th house of home and family and people that you live with together. So it's a big reassessment of the home life, of property matters, your family relationships, and there can be some delays in home renovations and moving or in real estate dealings. There can also be past family issues that may resurface and that might require a resolution. Very good time to like declutter and reorganize your home or your living space. The 4th house is about family. So yeah, family discussions, decisions about relocating, and a lot of Capricorns are like going to reconsider where they want to live. And also about how family dynamics really like influence your goals. So unexpected family responsibilities could arise, requiring you to be more flexible and be more patient. So be a bit mindful with family miscommunications. Use this time to like reconnect with your roots and to really resolve domestic matters and bring more harmony into your living space. So good luck, my dear Capricorns. The next one is Aquarius, Sun, Moon, or Rising. You are going to have this full moon lunar eclipse in the sign of Virgo into your 8th house. The 8th house is associated with finances, debts, share resources, taxes, child support, alimony, intimacy, transformation, but also trauma and fears. So something big is going to be released in that area. So you can expect like financial surprises, unexpected expenses. There can be something in regards to inheritance and having to pay off some sort of debt, or also like shifts in your shared financial agreements or like arrangements. So there might be some discussions about loans, about insurance, about claims, about like settlements or like joint investments as well. And the eighth house rules psychological transformations. So yeah, deeply buried emotional issues may resurfing, really like nudging you, Aquarius, to like reassess trust, reassess power dynamics, and how you look or feel about emotional bonds. So yeah, the eighth house is rather intense. I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna warn you a bit, but something big is gonna be released. So if you work with like a therapist during this time, some very big trauma can be released. So actually very beneficial and helpful if you look at this kind of way. Then you're going to have Mercury retrograde in your third house of communication. So yeah, financial news from the eighth house could arrive via email, via phone calls, texts, can be about legal documents, unexpected conversations. So yeah, Aquarius, carefully review contracts, avoid rush decisions, and you can expect a bit of paperwork delays as well. Not the best time to sign anything new. Wait until the Mercury retrograde is over. This is a period of reassessment, not hasty, impulsive, making new things or starting new things. And like Aquarius really like try to trust the unknown and embrace like necessary emotional or like deep emotional endings. Really engage in like a deeper financial and emotional healing. Use this intense energy in the eighth for something positive and don't sign anything hasty. So Mercury retrograde in the third, you're gonna have like Mercury's natural home is the third house, so you will be implicated a lot by this Mercury retrograde. There can be delays, confusions, conversation issues, miscommunication. And if you plan a travel during this time, you're gonna have delays for sure. So yeah, really look at past conversations. Can also be about something popping up in regards to siblings, and be a bit more cautious while driving. There can be like some sort of technologically like glitches happening in that. There can be lost messages, or maybe something goes wrong on social media. Maybe you post a pic too much or something like that. So be a bit wary about that. Really triple check important emails, contracts, travel plans, and be extra mindful of your words during this time. So good luck, my dear Aquarius. Then the last one for today is gonna be Pisces, Sun, Moon, or Rising. You will experience the South Node lunar eclipse in your seventh house of relationships, partnerships, business partnerships, contract agreements. So yeah, very pivotal moment in the relationship. Some connections will deepen while others might naturally dissolve, because this is a full moon lunar eclipse and it marks a period of endings. So yeah, for some Pisces, this could bring breakups, engagements, or reunions with past lovers or past business partnerships. The focus is really like on clarifying what relationships are like worth keeping and which ones need to be released. And if you have been like too critical or too tough on your partner, on your marriage partner, or on your business partner, this can also be elevated during this time. So yeah, this eclipse is opposite Pisces. So yeah, it's not easy, I'm gonna say. It has a direct implication for you, Pisces, especially with all these things at the end degrees of Pisces. I know it's not easy, and it's like, yeah, you have to like taking on like affirming a firmer stand on like your personal boundaries. It's about your self-respect, your independence. Some might feel like a stronger need for solitude during this time, while others could like unexpectedly encounter a lot of karmic relationships that need like some clearing out with this lunar eclipse. Then we have Mercury retrograde into your second house of money and self-worth. So yeah, this really like signals a big financial reassessment. And on the 27th of March, honey, it's Venus that is going to jump back into your sign. Yeah. So on the 27th of March, Venus is going to jump back into the sign of Pisces. So you already have been dealing with like a lot of financial reassessment. But now Mercury is going to join the party. So there's like a bigger implication on money issues. But I would need to look up whenever Mercury jumps back to Pisces. I totally forgot that. But it's also about like, are you giving too much and are you receiving enough support? Because the second house is about is a give and take axis. So it's like a time to like demand fairness, balance, and like respect in all partnerships as well. So yeah, it's like also about how you fix your income. Where do you make your income? What are your resources? What are your spending habits? Be a bit more careful about spending too much right now, because there could be some losses with all these retrogrades into your second house of money. There could be some delays in paychecks, delays in financial transactions or in business dealings. I really avoid like impulsive financial decisions right now. Even major purchases are not to be recommended, even though some have been like saving a lot for like in late spring some new chapter of their life that is like about to start. Like if you have been saving a lot to do this big investment now, then I say it's okay. It's also okay to do big investments if you have like Venus retrograde in your natal chart, but I would need to need to take a look at that. It's sometimes difficult, and especially for Pisces, to make like these general predictive things because so much is going on in Pisces, and it like all depends on what these aspects do to like your natal chart. But be a bit wary and like really take time to rethink your self-worth and like your financial independence. So my tip for you guys is to rework your budget, clear out financial clutter, and also avoid big risky financial moves. So, Rita says, you are so thorough in your work. Thank you, Astrid. Thank you so much, Rita. And then Mem Jax says, thank you. Thank you so much for following along, Mem Jax. And I guess that was it for today. I all wish you a very happy full moon lunar eclipse in Virgo. And we will be back for the solar eclipse in Aries, which will be a very, very interesting one for sure. So if you want to receive a notification, hit the bell button below. If you like my videos, give them a thumbs up. Every interaction with my channel helps to make it grow. So thank you so much for your comments and your love, and I will see you next time. Bye.